Hey travelers, Mag, I, and Sanferic here on day 153 of our trip around the United States. Today and tomorrow are going to be a little bit different than our normal format. We have arrived at our destination in Arkansas in the very northwest corner of the state, and this is as far as the road with Sanferic is going to take us. We have no real miles to cover today or tomorrow. That's because this area in the northwest corner of Arkansas is rife with geocache targets. There are a ton of earth caches out here. There are a ton of icons. There are a ton of traditionals with high favorite points. There are a lot of great looking night caches. In general, there's just a lot of good looking caches in this area. So we're starting off the morning here in Bella Vista, just south of the Missouri border. From here, we're gonna work our way into Bentonville for the day. I don't expect we're gonna get any farther than Bentonville because there's just too many targets. If we do, the farthest we will possibly get is Fayetteville. But much more likely, we'll be moving between Bentonville and Fayetteville tomorrow as we finish the targets that we couldn't get to today. I can't wait to see what today has in store. I know we're gonna have some waterfalls in store, I know we're gonna have some great views, and I know we're gonna have some great geocaches. So I'm very excited to be able to see what it has in store and bring it directly to you. Come on, let's go check it out.
Our very first stop of the day was Pinion Creek Falls along the Back 40 trail system. Despite how dry it has been in the northwest part of Arkansas recently, we were still very happy to see there was a pretty good flow of water over the falls. The earth cache listing here provided us our first glimpse of how the limestone in the area has been a big contributing factor to the beautiful secrets that Bella Vista holds just under the surface. From the falls, we took a very short hike along the Back 40 Loop Trail. This is a 22-mile long trail that stretches along the edges of Bella Vista. It is really intended for mountain biking, which is growing in popularity in the area. Don't worry though, we weren't about to hike 22 miles. We did a short distance on the trail to go out and find a couple of geocaches hidden along its length. And the ones we targeted did not disappoint. They both had accurate coordinates and were regular sized containers filled with swag. Not that we needed to trade anything, but it's always nice to see that there are things available for finders. Neither one took us too long to locate, although coming anywhere off the trail here can present a terrain challenge, so it is definitely important to watch your step.
Very cool logbook.
From that tiny stretch of the Back 40, we hopped in the car and made our way over to the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail. This beautiful trail system is a fantastic hike for beginners and young children alike. You start off from a large parking lot in an urban neighborhood and can make your way along mostly flat trails with very little hazards. This loop system trail stretches on for about 2.2 miles and offers scenic views at just about every single turn. The trail zigzags its way back and forth across the creek, providing bridges at each crossing. The trail system is jam-packed with earth caches. After checking out the natural bridge, then we took a walk along the Table Rock, both of which gave us an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the natural area. The small cave found along the western tip of the trail was our turnaround point on this portion of the loop and gave us a great view of how the water undercuts the limestone. This was also our only crossing where we stepped across stepping stones instead of one of the many bridges. I suspect Aichan was having a little too much fun here because she went back and forth across the stepping stones at least 5 or 6 times. She also skipped more than one of these bridge crossings, opting to walk through the water instead, which was definitely for the best since her paws were very, very muddy.
Despite the fact that it's raining, we decided we're gonna come hike out here at the Tanyard Creek Trail. So far, it's been pretty decent. It's been mostly drizzle. We've got our rain jackets on so we're not soaked through. The dog's gotten quite muddy already. She took a seat right in the muddiest spot we could find. But we're actually gonna get her cleaned up at the end of the day today, so also not a problem. There are a ton of earth caches on these trails, and most of them are well within the geocaching saturation limit. So we just went through a set of 8, and all of them are pretty much within the 500-foot range of each other, meaning that within 500 feet, all 8 of those earth caches were on the circle on the trail. Each of the 8 focused on a different geological process and a different geological feature, and they were all pretty darn interesting.
Now we're hiking a really long way, 600 feet to the next earth cache, and we're going to continue the earth cache trail. If the rest of it is anything like what we've done so far, it's going to be a great time. And the dog's having a good time out here too. What do you think? These are some pretty good earth caches, Sanferic?
Oh yeah, definitely very unique.
Are you enjoying the hike on these trails?
Oh yeah, nice and flat for the most part.
For the most part, and there's lots of bridges too. So anytime there's water, we're actually able to keep our feet dry. Not the dog. She doesn't seem to like the bridges. She keeps going through the water, but that's all in the fun, isn't it? This squirrel was guarding one of the only physical geocaches we found along the trail. We had to convince him to move along so that we could make our way back to the find. This unique portion of the trail parallels a limestone shelf, demonstrating another great example of how Tanyard Creek has undercut the limestone rock. Tanyard Creek picks up velocity at the confluence where Avalon Branch, also known as the Sunshine Creek, joins together with it. Here, Tanyard Creek is still gaining more power as it widens out, flowing downhill for another half mile to join into the Little Sugar. The earth caches along this portion of the trail are slightly more spread out than the western loop, but no less interesting. We visited the ruins of an old house that had burned in the 1950s, learning about the limestone that had been used in the foundation. Then we carefully trekked our way through the Pigpen Bluff Shelter, an overhang of limestone that had once been used as a farm shelter for small pigs and other livestock. And that's when the rain got serious. All in all, we have had quite a time of it out here hunting down the earth caches on the Tanyard Creek Trail. We've found 18 of the earth caches, plus all the traditionals, and 3 stages of an adventure lab along the way. But the rain has started to get a little worse, and with the thunder being as loud as it has been in the last few minutes, we decided to cut out from the last 2 earth caches. We still have a couple hours worth of daylight left, so I think it's time for us to go find some geocaches in the area, and hopefully we won't be soaked down in the rain by the time we get back to the car. And yes, that's the thunder I'm talking about that's chasing us off this trail. The geocaches that we found after leaving the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail were all fairly close to parking. We strategically chose to make our finds when the rain had died down to little more than a drizzle. But it was quite temperamental, so our opportunities to make finds and stay dried continued to diminish. After adding our names to a few logbooks, it became evident that we were not going to be successful in staying dry. At that point, we decided it would be in our best interest to visit the Bella Vista Historical Museum. Being inside, under a roof, was exactly what we needed to dry out for a few minutes. The museum staff here are extremely knowledgeable about the area and were more than happy to give us a rundown of Bella Vista going all the way back to the origins of the town. This 3,000 square foot museum includes displays that will teach you about the Native Americans in the area, the earlier settlers, the farming communities, and the summer resort at Lake Bella Vista. Admission is free, so there's absolutely no reason you should not stop in if you're in the area to learn a little bit about Bella Vista. However, the hours are somewhat limited. It is open 12 months a year, but only about 20 hours a week, primarily 1 to 5 p.m. The final display that we enjoyed was at the Veterans Wall of Honor, just down the road, so we decided we should go visit it in person. The circular enclosure offers safekeeping for those contained within. As you walk the interior of the circle, you can see hundreds of veterans' names engraved on the bricks facing inboard toward the fountain. Along the back side of the circular interior wall, you can find a timeline of military events from the country's inception to the present, a graphic elaboration of those events, and a graphic review of military symbols and inceptive statements. There is certainly a lot to take in as you explore this monument and learn about the military history of our country. On the outer circular wall, facing inboard, you will find a quote from Thomas Paine. "These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of his country, but he that stands it now deserves the thanks of man and woman." All right, that is a wrap to our day. Today did not turn out at all like I expected, but in a good way. Not only did we not make it anywhere near Fayetteville, we didn't even make it to Bentonville. We have been in Bella Vista all day long, and it was well worth the time we took being here. We started off our day
at that waterfall, and we enjoyed a walk down the back 40 before we made our way over to the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail. From there, we spent, what, 5 hours? Easily 5 hours walking the trails of the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail, moving our way from one earth cache to the next. It was time well spent. In total, there are 20 earth caches out there on the Tanyard Creek Nature Trail, and they all focus on different geological features and all give you a good education of the area around Bentonville and Bella Vista. We wanted to get up to the waterfall and complete the last 2 earth caches as well, but as you can tell, we got rained out. Staying on the trails was not a good idea. So from there, we went to the Bella Vista Museum, and we waited out between a break in the storm and were able to tour the museum and get a great history of the Bella Vista area. Now we're finishing things off at the Wall of Honor, and I really could not ask for a better way to finish the day. We are looking forward to another fantastic day of geocaching tomorrow, and we expect to actually do that in Bentonville. We may get up to the trailhead on Bella Vista and finish off the waterfall, but if it looks like this, we'll be skipping out on that part of the trail. I guess we'll see when we get there. Thank you for joining us. Like this video, subscribe to stay tuned for daily updates, and we'll see you out on the trails.